Good morning, reception. I hope you're all okay. I'm going to read a story today called The Squirrels Who Squabbled. Squabbled means to have an argument or a disagreement with somebody. So I think the two foxes and squirrels are going to fall out with each other. In a towering forest where summer had been, the cool air bit fresh and the mosses grew green. And as autumn edged in and the sky raged red, the sleepiest creatures got ready for bed. While up in a tree swung a flying young squirrel, who everyone knew as spontaneous Cyril. Now, mostly forest folk had seen to their needs through their plentiful months of mushrooms and seeds. They built up their stores so they'd all be well fed through the foresting winter that glittered ahead. But Cyril, he lived in the now and the here. He had ventured and partied his way through the year. So his cupboard was empty, his hollow was bare. He hadn't a mouthful of food anywhere. But wait, what was that over there? Take a look. A single lone pine cone wedged in a nook. He squealed with delight, and for a very good reason. For inside were the very last nuts of the season. But Cyril wasn't alone. There was more hungry eyes. Yes, plan ahead, Bruce. He had his sights on the prize. Though he'd gathered a mountain of bounty hard fought, Bruce was convinced he was one pine cone short. I simply must have it, he wistfully cried, as he dreamt of the fresh, juicy pine nuts inside. So, as Cyril set off on his way to the ground, Bruce, he was also last pinecone bound. They sprinted and scurried with no time to gamble. They scratched at the bark and they scramble. But their panic and haste shook the tips of the spruce, and the pinecone it trembled, and then it came loose. Both squirrels gave chase a lightning pace. This was the start of a wild, nutty race. It's mine, shouted Cyril. No, mine, hauled Bruce. You don't stand a chance. Give up, it's no use. I'm hungry, cried Squirrel. This cone is not yours. Stay back, shouted Bruce. This cone's for my stores. Oh dear, they really are squabbling now. It boinged over bushes and flew through the air. It binged down the nose of a slumbering bear. It bounced over boulders, then came to a... Stop! Then teeth chattered, and they wobbled, and they quivered, and... Plop! Both squirrels followed. Oh, the water was fast. Would they learn that they needed each other at last? But each was intent of how he could win. So they didn't quite notice a bird sweeping in. Oh no, is the bird going to get it instead? Cyril and Bruce, they watched in dismay as their cone disappeared up, up and away. Come back, shouted Cyril. There are nuts, exclaimed Bruce. But all hope was gone. It was simply no use. And meanwhile they drifted right up to the ledge. Greed it was driving them. Over the edge! Cyril and Bruce, they had taken a fall. They were paying the price for waiting it all. They squandered their chances to team up and share. Would their nutty young hopes simply end in despair? Bruised and bedraggled, they swept past dry land. Cyril grabbed at a branch with a trembling hand. Catching Bruce with the other hand, he heaved and he huffed and dragged him to safety with panting and puffs. They stared at the sky, quite lost in deep thought, until Bruce looked at Cyril and let out a snort. How silly are we, he proclaimed, all a jiggle. How greedy I've been, spluttered Bruce with a giggle. We will change from today, may the squabbling cease. We should celebrate, seeing we're both in one piece. From that day and forward, they made a great pair. They would gather together and they found they could share. Yes, Cyril and Bruce, they knew it in the end. The best thing is to share, is to laugh with a friend. What a lovely, lovely story. So that they became really good friends in the end and learnt that the best way is to always share with your friends because you have so much more fun. I hope you enjoyed our story and I can't wait to see you back at school tomorrow. Take care.